surprised were you that the New York Giants went Daniel Jones at number 6?
I wouldn't say surprised as much as disappointed for Giants fans. I mean, if you watch the tape, this guy, listen, I've sat in a room with him. I've sat with David Cutcliffe, and he's explained how much he loves him, how smart he is, and he's a good guy. His teammates love him. He's competitive. He is a runner. He can run. But I see a backup quarterback in the NFL. And when you look at him, he's slow to process at times, inconsistent decision maker. He is, if we did statistics on all these quarterbacks, second to last of all the quarterbacks, talking about 15 draftable quarterbacks this year, second to last in terms of under pressure, which is the most important thing to evaluate with quarterbacks from college to the NFL.
Well, with that being said, the pain has gone away. Finally, the right decision was made as of yesterday. Folks, the Daniel Jones era is officially over. And the Third and 10 podcast can finally start its true journey to being a not so depressing podcast.
We have to be happy on this show for once and not be when is Daniel Jones not going to ruin my Sunday?
I know, because we have this podcast for over a year now. And obviously we've gone through so many losses. Obviously a few wins here and there with Tommy Devito.
We'd love to know what our record is since the show started. It's not good.
Definitely. We had the show since the Raiders game, correct?
The first Washington game at MetLife.
That was the DeVito.
That was Tyrod still.
I'll look into it. It'll be interesting to see.
That was like a 14-7 win. And then with the Raiders the next week.
Okay. I get you. But yeah, what's going on, guys? Episode 42 of the Third and 10 podcast is live. I'm your host, Nathan Nguyen, joined by my guy, Brian Germinaro. Brian, I would ask you how you're doing, but it seems like we're doing pretty well today.
I'm doing great. I cannot believe that Todd McShay video came out 6 years ago and how dead on accurate it still is in today's context. Like everything he says is what we've been yelling about on this show for weeks now. Like that's if we need to look back, and I don't know why anyone would ever want to look back on the career of Daniel Jones, just show him that Todd McShay video and you don't need to watch anything else. That's it.
Dude, I can't believe we drafted the quarterback. He gave us that review, and all of us were like, sometimes analysts can be wrong. No. Look, these analysts like Todd McShay, they're experts in the draft process. He's an expert. Mel Kiper's an expert. Yes, they get some picks wrong, but most of the time they're always right.
Kiper more than normal gets stuff wrong. Kiper's 50-50 at this point.
Yeah, but McShay has, just based on that, has been spot on.
Yeah, Shea, I think, has less gaffes than Kiper does. I think I would definitely lean McShay, but yeah.
Yeah, so, but overall, that scouting report set the bar for how high Daniel Jones' ceiling could be. And yes, he made that playoff run for us in 2022, but that's kind of his only body of work that is successful. Other than that, he's just been a jag, just a guy in his NFL career. And all of us can remember his 2019, season debut against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he went completely insane. He was great in that game. He had that Colts game in week 17 in 2022 when he just sealed the deal for the Giants. And he walked off to a standing ovation.
That was a Colts team that had Nick Foles starting at quarterback.
It was Nick Foles, and I forgot who their starter was. I think no. So Foles was a starter, but he went down. So
was it Matt? Was that the Matt Ryan year?
I think it wasn't it.
Yeah, I think it's the Matt Ryan year.
Damn, he's still playing that year, huh? He's got commitment, baby. But yeah, he had that Minnesota game, the wild card game in 2022 as well, when he, helped the Giants win that game. And then that's kind of it. There are not a lot of memorable moments from Daniel Jones' career. And when you play for the city,
there's a lot of memorable moments. They're just not the good ones.
Not the good ones. There are a lot of bad ones,
yeah.
But not a lot of good ones, man. And look, the era with his presence is now over. He was demoted to QB3, not 2, but 3, according to Brian Daboll. and we called it a few weeks ago, we wanted this guy to start. Tommy DeVito will be the starter for the Giants. I'm super excited.
I gotta find my DeVito shirt now. I have one. I wanted it for today. I searced my house last night. Could not find it.
Nothing.
It's in the attic.
Damn. How do you feel about DeVito? I think we'll start with that. How do you feel about DeVito starting? Locke will remain the number 2 quarterback, and then Jones will be the inactive / QB3 emergency quarterback type of thing. But how do you feel about DeVito starting?
I love DeVito starting. Like, at the very least, DeVito's fun. Like, he might not be a great quarterback. He might not, win a game for us, but at least he's a fun quarterback. He's going to have the fun off the field stuff, like running out to the Sopranos music, or his agent looking like straight out of, 1920 gangster movies. Like, that stuff is fun, all right? And then from, like, a football standpoint, like, I know a lot of people saying that, like, oh, the Giants wasted money on Drew Lock. Like, they wanted protection for Daniel Jones. I think Drew Lock did give him protection for Daniel Jones. Like, sure, is it a waste of money? Obviously, looking back on it, it's a complete waste of $5 million. Could that have swayed Saquon? I doubt it, but we don't know. That's all hypothetical questions. I think they brought in Drew Lock in case Daniel Jones got hurt. They could put Drew Lock in and have a serviceable NFL quarterback on the roster. Bringing in Tommy DeVito right now, I think this is Tommy DeVito's like trial period. Like, we saw what DeVito did last year, and it was up and downs. Let's see what in the offseason of developing, working out, learning the playbook, and now we're seeing what we have in this guy. Like, if DeVito goes out there and plays out of his mind and wins, who's to say he can't be the next franchise quarterback? So I think DeVito is going to get a real shot here in showing this coaching staff, hey, this is what I can do. And depending on where the Giants end up picking, do you really need to go get a quarterback or not? So it's going to be interesting seeing what DeVito does here.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Daboll came out yesterday and announced the move. Here's a clip from him on what he had to say about the quarterback change.
So we're making a quarterback switch here from Daniel, and we're going to go with Tommy. I spoke with all the quarterbacks this morning before our morning meeting. Let them know what the direction that we're going. Those are never easy conversations. Got a lot of respect for all 3 of those guys. After evaluating a bunch of things and looking at a lot of tape, and being around Tommy last year where he created a little bit of a spark for us, that's the reason why we're going with Tommy. Drew will be the backup. Continue to work with him. He's been nothing but a pro, and as was Daniel. So it's never an easy conversation to have with the players, but felt like this was a necessary move for us, and look forward to working with Tommy and getting him ready to go against Tampa.
And here's the thing, shout out to the Giants for that clip there. Look, Daboll, let's face it, he didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
No, it was like, because yes, Mara said he's coming back. Same thing with Joe Shane. Mara said he's coming back too. But you can't sit here and tell me that they were going to play Jones for the rest of the season, because we've seen what happens when Jones is at quarterback. They lose, and they lose bad. This offense is just non-operable with him at quarterback. So you mentioned DeVito, right? He's someone that last year, 3 games for us?
Yeah, 3-game win streak.
3-3, yeah. He beat the Commanders, the Patriots, and the Packers on Monday night. At least,
what has Daniel Jones not been able to do?
Not win primetime games, my boy.
Giants are 1-7 in primetime games and Monday night games. The one win was Tommy DeVito.
Oh shit! Hold on a minute.
I'm pretty sure I got that stat right, because it might be 1-8 now because of the Pittsburgh game.
Oh, breaking news! We should have a breaking news thing, huh?
We should. What is the breaking news? Not that. Not that.
So the Jets saw what the Giants did yesterday with the whole Daniel Jones thing and said, "We'll one up you." Joe Douglas has been fired.
Whoa.
GM for the Jets has been fired.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Last month it was Robert Saleh that was gone, and now it is Mr. Douglas himself. We'll report more as we get more here. As of 54 seconds ago, this has occurred, so we'll talk more about this as we get more information here. But I just want to.
I mean, I guess he's being punished for what the Rodgers trade was, I guess. But this is Joe Doug. Like, he built a pretty decent roster. Like, I like Joe Douglas as a general manager.
Yeah.
I think he made a really bad decision in hitching his wagon to Aaron Rodgers, and we'll never know what would have happened if Rodgers doesn't get hurt in the first 75 seconds. But, like, outside of that Rodgers deal, like, he brought in Sauce Gardner, who's had a good start. Breece Hall was his guy. He built a pretty, he built a young nucleus you thought if you add a few complementary pieces to, could be a playoff team.
And honestly, I don't think it was a head coach's fault. I don't think it was his fault. Douglas. No. Yeah, it's not Salah's fault. It's not Douglas's fault. It's on the player. It's Woody and the players.
Yes.
Because Rodgers has looked like a complete mess. He has not looked the same. It's clear from the jump. He never looked the same. And I don't expect him to be. He's 40 years old or damn near.
Coming off Achilles injury.
Yeah. And that's never easy. And you have to be realistic. Like, sometimes you don't have it anymore. And he clearly doesn't. Maybe the team should have moved on from Zach Wilson. And I get it. Zach Wilson was bad. But, like, I would have more confidence in Zach Wilson right now.
Yeah.
Because Rodgers just doesn't have it. You give Zach Wilson Devontae Adams, who knows, who knows where things could go.
Just give him a game. Just tell him be a game manager. Just get the ball to these guys and figure it out from there.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Malachi Corley, Breece Hall in the backfield. Yes, he worked with Hall in the backfield last season, but who knows?
Here's another one. Don't move on from Sam Darnold and give him a good coach. Because we saw I know it's not going great right now for Minnesota, but we've seen flashes throughout Darnold's career. Like, a lot of people forget when Sam Darnold originally went to Carolina, the first 8 weeks or so were really good play. Like, he was a legit, reliable fantasy quarterback for the Panthers. So, like, Darnold has shown flashes. I just think if you get him in the right now it's a little different because he's older and he's been bounced around so much. He's kind of had what Daniel Jones and Mac Jones has, which just shell-shocked everything and just the confidence completely shattered. But if they actually went out and got a good offensive-minded coach that knew how to develop Sam Darnold, I bet you Sam Darnold is a much better quarterback than he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get Adam Gase, everything's different.
God. Dude, he looks so high on the sidelines. Gase did. He was not a good coach for them. So before we go back to the Giants real quick, I want to know where did the Jets go from here? Because the GM's gone. There's no way their current head coach is going to be the guy next year.
No, Todd Downing, he sucks.
Yeah, or isn't it Ulbrich?
Oh, Ulbrich. Yeah, I just keep thinking Downing's the guy.
No, you're good.
Offense. Yeah.
So where do the Jets go from here? Because I don't know. You just don't.
No, the Jets are one of the worst situations in football right now because you have arguably one of the worst owners in the sport. You have an aging quarterback who is saying he wants to come back next season. And, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's had a great career, but, he has done nothing in New York. And he's the kind of guy where he can't even be you can't even – if you're the Jets and you're a general manager, you can't even be like, okay, we're going to bring in Cam Ward or Quinn Ewers, and he's going to sit behind Rodgers for a year, and Rodgers will mentor him. Rodgers is a diva, all right? When they brought in Jordan Love, Rodgers was not nice to Jordan Love. He was not that mentor everyone says he was. And if you say, oh, that's just a new thing, no. Say what you want about Brett Favre. Brett Favre had every reason to not like Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers said, "Hey, Grandpa," when they first met. No. That's not how you introduce yourself to somebody. You don't call him Grandpa. Sure, let's say it was 10 weeks in and they had developed a relationship and Rodgers started calling him Grandpa. That's two guys, messing around with each other. That happens. Your first interaction is that? What is that? And this is Rodgers, who's a weird guy to begin with. He's, cut off his family. He's asked weird questions. He, darkness retreats. This is not a guy I want around a young quarterback. So like you just kind of feel like lost and like whatever the Jets bring in, it's not going to change until Woody Johnson sells or Aaron Rodgers is not quarterback anymore, and you can actually get somebody to develop a quarterback.
Yeah, Rodgers needs to go. I think
He's a big He
call
destroyed
it
the locker
quits.
room.
Yeah, I won't say he destroyed the locker room, but just rather like he just isn't the same guy. And
No.
yes, he's a weird dude, but he's a leader in some aspects. Like we saw that in Green Bay. You know, the coaching situation was weird at times in Green Bay. He had some constant arguments with McCarthy and LaFleur and all that stuff, but he's a
And
winner.
McCarthy just isn't a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that last night.
We saw that, and I can't wait to talk about that game because the
Mhm.
Cowboys are a huge mess, and I'm not talking about just the stuff on the field. But Rodgers does need to retire. I think he knows that. Hey, look, I've had a pretty good NFL career. I'm probably going to the Hall of Fame with my statistics.
Oh, without question.
I won a Super Bowl. That's automatically consideration into the Hall of Fame conversation. And I got you, Dan. I got you, bud. Thank you, sir, by the way. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you. But you are very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm a little jealous. Okay.
I got Tyron Tracy. I'm okay.
Yeah. I
don't want to overpay for a running back, no matter how good Saquon's looked this year.
I was looking at the statistics the other day. You know, Tracy and Saquon. I know Saquon has more 100-yard games and everything, but very similar statistically wise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was a sort of a win-win for both sides.
It
in
is.
a way. You know, Tracy's a cheap contract. Saquon's the one for Philadelphia. Like, I'm not mad at it. Like,
Yeah.
if Tracy sucked, different issue. But Tracy leads all rookies in rushing yards. So
yeah, Tracy's like everyone gives the Giants crap. Tracy's been a fine replacement for Saquon Barkley, and he costs a 12th of what Saquon Barkley cost, and doesn't have the injury history that Saquon Barkley has.
Very cheap, very cheap. But yeah, so Rodgers needs to go. I think Devontae is probably planning his next destination at this point. He needs to stop going to teams.
Where are my friends? Where are they?
Where are my friends? Have you seen Sid the Science Kid, that show?
Yes.
I'm looking for my friends. That's basically him the past 3-4 seasons. They've all left him. So, and yeah, if I'm Garrett Wilson, do I want to be there? Really? Do I really want to be in the Jets, or do I want to go to a contender? Same thing with Breece Hall, because those guys are the best offensive players on the Jets. And Hassan Reddick, yes, he finally got his contract, but I'm pretty sure
he's a guy that's got to go too.
Oh, he's going to 100%. After all the drama this past offseason and into this season as well, they need to do a full roster reset if I'm the Jets. So
yeah, no, they have to, but I don't know if they can. Is the problem? Like they just went through a roster reset. Are they really going to want to do it again?
If I'm the new GM, hell yeah. Like,
yeah.
Bro,
is Woody going to allow you to do that? Or is Woody going to try to force again to win?
And this is why owners, like, they just piss me off. Because, like, it's just in New York, you know? Like, both owners just freaking suck.
Yeah.
They're the reason why the team is bad. Like, you oversee the team. They want to have their say in the football decisions when really they don't know football to save their damn life.
No.
Like, it's like, you know, Woody Johnson with the whole Salah situation, and now Douglas, and, you know, signing Rodgers and all that stuff. We've seen our John Mara. He's not Mr. Mara to us. I'm sorry. I ain't giving that man no respect. I'm sorry.
No, that's his dad, Wellington, who actually built this team. And Wellington did have his stretch in the 60s and 70s where he wasn't great. Maybe this is John Mara's version of the 60s and 70s. We can only hope. That means we have 4 Super Bowls coming down the line. But just saying, it's not looking. Wellington was able to listen to outside people, and because that's how the Giants got George Young. Was the NFL was like, this is the guy you should hire to turn things around. And Wellington said, you know what? It has been working. I'm gonna let him take over. John Mara hasn't learned that lesson yet. And I don't know if he will learn that lesson.
And like I've seen so many comments like, oh well, Joe Shane should have paid Saquon Barkley instead of Daniel Jones, and he should have tagged Daniel Jones. Yeah, I promise you right now, and I'll say it again.
If he tagged Daniel Jones, he would have lost Saquon Barkley in free agency.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like if they re-sign Saquon Barkley.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But the cap would have been so much more messed up.
That's the thing that is a bit bothersome. Plus, we know Joe Shane was not behind all these moves. Like I know he's not the Joe Shane. The reason why he did not bring Saquon back is because he saw what Mara did. Because I'm telling you, Mara's the one that forced the Giants to re-sign Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He saw what he did in 2022 and was like, "You better re-sign him. You've been here for 1 year on the job." To Shane and Daboll, y'all better bring him back. And Joe Shane saw what he did with Jones and was like, "Yeah, sorry, buddy, we're not doing this again. I'm not bringing back Saquon no matter what you say. I'll do it my way."
Yeah.
And
if it works out for us, if it's smart financially from a football decision, be more than happy to bring back Saquon Barkley. But we're not going to overpay or do a stupid contract just because you hinted you want Saquon Barkley back.
And you bring back Saquon and Jones, we're in cap space now. We are in cap space now. And we couldn't, we wouldn't be able to resign or sign, I should say, Brian Burns or sign and trade for Brian Burns. We wouldn't get John Runyon or Illuminor or, all the players that have been pivotal.
Or a shot this offseason at a guy like a T. Higgins.
There you go.
Like that's a realistic possibility for this Giants team is T. Higgins. But if Saquon's here, guess what? T. Higgins is not even in a conversation right now.
People fail to look into the future. Yeah. That's the thing. And that's everyone's so focused on the right now. But let's face it, right now for the Giants, there's nothing to look forward to. No. Like, yeah, DeVito's going to be playing. But, like, hey, we got to look into next free agency, next draft. A lot of Giants, there's some Giants fans like, oh, I wish we still had Saquon. Nah, man. Like, that train has sailed. Sure, Saquon can do all the good he wants the rest of the year for the Eagles. Like, me and you, we don't care. We're just looking forward to next year when we have a new quarterback under center. Like, it's not all about right now, especially when you're 2-8, 2-9.
And realistically, how many more wins does Saquon Barkley give this team?
You give it 1 or 2.
I'm going to say 1 or 2.
Because the environment in New York isn't the same as in Philadelphia is as much as it hurts to say it as Giants fans, they are a loaded offense. They have a top 10 quarterback, a outstanding offensive line. I don't know how they keep doing it on a year-to-year basis. It's always consistently good, even without losing Jesse Kelsey. You have 2 outstanding receivers in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Defensively, they're a solid. They're not a great unit, but they're a solid unit, 100%.
They're respectable. They're like, okay, this can carry us to where it needs to go if the offense can play the way we think it can.
And their best, part of the defense is their secondary, especially with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I don't know how they were able to land those 2 guys in the draft last year, but shout out to Roseman for that. But that Eagles team, they're ready to contend. And Saquon, I don't blame him for choosing Philadelphia. It's crazy how Philadelphia was out of the race at first for Saquon and then made their way back into the race, like we saw in Hard Knocks. But at the end of the day, this Giants team needed to do something coming out of the bye week. And it's not a surprise that they went to DeVito. Like, if they went to Locke, I feel like it's more a surprise.
It would have been the Manning benching 2.0, where you went to Geno instead of Davis Webb. And, like, it wouldn't ever see the same backlash because, like, everyone hated Daniel Jones. But it would have been like, we had the young quarterback. We know what Drew Lock is. Let's see what DeVito is.
Maybe we could play Drew Lock against the Eagles because he beat the Eagles last year. That'd
be awesome.
No, but I love DeVito. I hope he does bring a spark to us. I do kind of hope he doesn't, take us out of the top 5 of draft positioning. Like, if we could, I think the best case scenario for all Giants fans involved is if we win games, but the other teams also win games that are in front of us for draft position, and then we lose a few, and then as long as the teams in front of us lose more than we do the rest of the season, but we still able to not get a few wins.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Or the non-quarterback teams are the ones that jump us.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
if the Jaguars jump us, if I got to look at the list right now because I can't do it off the top of my head.
I got you. I think Tank up. So I think right
Yeah,
now
Tank is on.
Jacksonville.
So like if Cleveland stays in front of us, if New England falls apart and they jump in front of us,
Mhm.
like those are the teams. Carolina could still be going with Bryce Young if they go in front of us. Like, sure, we still probably have to trade up for a quarterback because the quarterback needy teams will trade up too.
Mhm.
But it's a lot easier to trade up with one of those teams than it is, to sit behind Tennessee and, Cleveland, Vegas, the Jets, who all could be in the market for a quarterback.
Mhm. I have the top 5 teams in terms of the draft order. The Giants have the second toughest schedule. The rest of the Raiders are in first in terms of toughest schedule with a .525 winning percentage in terms of their opponents. But overall, good to see DeVito get the starting job once again. I'm super excited. I know you brought him, you talked about him earlier, but for me, I'm super excited to see him play. Ironically, it's against Tampa Bay, which was the team that Jones played in his first career start.
Mhm.
Ironically,
Yeah.
as much as I don't want to ask you, it's still once a giant, always a once a giant, always a giant, or whatever. So, can you think of any? I don't know why I'm asking this. Any favorite moments from Daniel
Oh,
Jones'
for Daniel
career?
Jones? Oh, okay. I see.
I don't know why I'm asking. Bro.
I mean, the Bucks game was a big one.
Mhm.
That was always a favorite of mine. When him and Manning were caught at the Hoboken bar together playing Flip Cup, that was fun. It's like, oh my God, these guys playing Flip Cup in a bar? That's my quarterback. I mean, the Minnesota game was fun when he took over and was like, this is the Jones. Like if he plays like this every single game, that's $40 billion worth right there. And he never did.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, I love the Tampa game. The memorable moment where he was running against the Eagles and then he tripped and fell.
He got
that was
a
hilarious.
sniper got him.
Bam! Yeah, that or the turf monster, one or the other, man. That was the most craziest play. The Seattle pick six, where I don't know what the heck he was staring, but that was just like the beginning of the end for me.
That's your favorite moment?
One of my favorites, because that was like the beginning of the end for his career. I was like, yeah, that's...
I remember exactly where I was that night. I had gone up to use the bathroom before the pick six happened, and I just heard my friend Josh scream out of like, "Are you effing kidding me?" And then just got up, went to the fridge, opened the door. I came out of the bathroom, and he's just standing and just handed me a beer and goes, "We're gonna need a lot of these." I'm like, "Okay,
okay."
I don't want to know what happened, but I trust your judgment enough to know that this is not good.
Then you saw the replay and you're like,
yeah, I saw the replay and I'm like, I am glad I did not watch this live because I might have jumped off the roof.
You would have lost it. And then finally, a good moment I would say was definitely that Indianapolis game where he walked off to a standing ovation. He played well in that game to seal the Giants playoff spot.
Didn't watch that game actually.
Really?
I was actually at a New England Patriots Miami Dolphins game when that happened.
So the one time the Giants clicked the playoff spot, jeez.
I was watching on Jumbotron.
Fair enough. But yeah, this is the end of Daniel Jones, man. And look, we thank him for all the good memories, a lot of bad memories, if anything, but there were a few good memories with him under center. And he's a great guy. He's someone that is a great off the field type of dude. But at the end of the day, he just wasn't him.
If there's one thing that you can pull, if there's one aspect of Daniel Jones that you wish every quarterback has, is his work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Say whatever you want about Daniel Jones. That guy put in the work day in and day out and tried to get better. He wasn't like Deshaun Watson, who got paid and stopped caring. Daniel Jones, every week in and week out, worked his ass off to try to improve. And you know what? For some guys, it just doesn't happen.
You know who I feel bad for in terms of Jones leaving? Darius Slayton, because he's always defended him so much, and now it's like, damn, because they're still like best friends, basically. I feel like
Oh,
low
yeah.
key, but now he's gone.
I think a lot of the veterans in that locker room love Daniel Jones. You just don't hear it.
They love him for his
the work ethic. They hate him when they see him at quarterback, but they're like they feel bad for him. You know, it's not like, damn, this guy's playing quarterback. It's like, damn, this guy puts in so much work and he just doesn't get better.
And you know, at the end of the day, like this isn't the end for him. Like he could find somewhere else, and
Cleveland would be a good spot for him.
Oh my!
With Stefanski.
Yeah, but you know who else is there?
I mean, Deshaun, yeah, but like,
wait, isn't it Kadarius Toney and Khalil?
Kadarius Toney is there.
He's
a practice squad guy. They'll cut him.
That's true.
He's not on the Browns roster in the offseason.
I think he had like one catch for like -2 yards the other day.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right? Yeah. Nothing new here.
Nope.
Yeah, Cleveland sounds like a good spot. Indianapolis possibly as a backup. He's gonna be signed to a place to be a backup, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Backup or starter with a young quarterback right behind him. Like Vegas could sign him, but like it's like, all right, we have him, but like Shedeur Sanders is gonna start in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, just somewhere where it's a low pressure situation, doesn't have to face the media. Like if he goes to a place like that, I think he'll be okay. I don't expect him to be anything more than a good QB2. But he's
gonna be Josh McCown.
There you go.
He just kind of bounces around, gets some spot starts here and there, but is never basically just an extension of a coach.
And then let's see, Jalen Hyatt might benefit from this as well. I wanted to bring him up real quick before we go to the Week 11 stuff. Jalen Hyatt could be a winner of the whole DeVito starting thing because last year, when Hyatt played with Jones, he had like 4 catches for 99 yards. And then the 6 games that DeVito played as starting quarterback had 8 catches for 129 yards. Yes, he hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but DeVito knows how to get the ball to Hyatt. He knows how to get the ball to anybody. Like now that DeVito has Malik Neighbors and hey, what's up, R? Yeah, he was. Witherspoon was. Yeah, that was yeah, when he picked Jones off, man, he was gone. I'll tell you that right now. But you know, Neighbors, Hyatt, Wandale, Theo Johnson, like DeVito with weapons now, we could see DeVito put up some decent games for us. Because he isn't afraid to throw the ball deep. Yes, he does struggle with the reads, but I'm sure he's, you know, kind of fixed that issue of him just, you know, if his first read's out there.
You don't think he like went and Brian Daboll goes, what can I do to be a better quarterback? And it's like, well, we need you to do this. And like, you don't think he saw Daniel Jones' work ethic and be like, okay, that's what I got to do?
Yeah. They saw something in DeVito that was like, you're starting instead of Drew Lock. Like, because Lock has been the QB2 all season long. They signed him to a 1-year, $5 million contract, and they said, no, DeVito, you're starting. Like, that has to say something about what DeVito's doing in practice, and, you know,
that's why I say DeVito has it, like, it's a long shot, but it's a shot he can be a franchise quarterback for this team.
Because it's not impossible.
It's not impossible, no.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be like the next Tom Brady or the next Brock Purdy, you know, coming out of nowhere. Absolutely not. But can he be this, you know, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff as quarterback, or he's just a game manager and gets the ball to his weapons? There's nothing he's shown me that says he can't do that.
Yeah, he struggled last year. You know, he did lose 3 games, but like, look, when teams have film on you, they will expose you, and he was exposed a few times last year, especially against in that Saints game.
The Saints game was a big one.
That was a tough one. But he has, like, his arm isn't the greatest, like it's not the strongest, but it gets the job done. Like, we'll see what he can do.
He hit receivers in stride, which is something Jones has struggled with all season. It's a game changer.
Like if he can do that,
if he can hit, like, I know they don't run this play because it's not Madden, but like, you know, Madden with the slant routes, like the slants, the double slants. If he can hit like Robinson or Neighbors on that slant route and he has open field, that's a 50-yard gain right there.
Taking off, baby. Taking off. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm super excited. I know you are too, to see our boy DeVito.
It's just different. It's something different.
It's something different.
It's like, like, sure, we've seen DeVito before. We know what he is. But, like, it's just not Daniel Jones. It's like, all right, you know what? DeVito did win 3 games for us last year. Like, there was Tommy Mania for a reason.
That's true. That's true. And we'll see it again. DeVito Mania has officially returned. Jones is officially done. And Jones he finishes his Giants career with a record of 24, 44, and 1 in 6 years as a starter. Played 70 games, started 69 of them, and in the playoff was 1-1.
Oh, the Dallas week 1, his first year. I was trying to think of what the one was.
That was an ugly one. Eesh.
Yeah, for his first game, they benched Eli and put Jones in, and then 2 weeks later, Eli saw the bench.
Yeah.
Tough
times, but it is over now, and we can finally move on from Daniel Jones. Hallelujah. All right. Let's see. Other than that, yeah, that was kind of the main point one we want to talk about as we shift towards week 11 of the NFL season. A lot of takeaways from this past week. Kickers missing field goals and extra points. It was a messy week. But we start in Dallas. Really? Jerry? Okay, first off, you're an owner of one of, if not the richest franchise in the NFL.
I think they're the most famous franchise in the NFL.
There you go. The richest franchise in the NFL.
Like, if you were to go to, like, Taiwan, let's just say, and ask someone there, name an NFL team, I guarantee you 90% of them say the Dallas Cowboys.
Not because they're America's team.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I disagree, but it is what it is.
Right. We all everyone that's not a Cowboys fan disagrees with that sentence.
100%. But so you're the owner of the richest franchise. You have one of, if not the most beautiful cheerleaders ever on the planet. They have their own show named after them. The Cowboys cheerleaders do.
Mm-hmm.
Yet your team sucks. You thought bringing Zeke back was a good idea. Whatever. You paid Dak Prescott. You paid Dak Prescott just to be straight garbage so far this year. And he's out for the year. And your stadium, last week forgot to put the curtains down or
but
put
that's
a roof?
always been a problem in Dallas. I've been watching Dallas Cowboys games for years, and that sun looked horrific.
But that doesn't. Okay, so he does. Yes, I know it's difficult to deal with, and maybe it's as easy as putting some curtains on the roof or whatever.
They did put curtains up.
Yeah, but they put the curtains up for the Jake Paul fight when it was already nighttime. Why? By the way, we'll talk about that fight later.
I gotta talk about a fight. What a horrific fight that was.
Did you want to talk about it now? We'll talk about it right now, actually.
Yeah, why not? Before we get to the NFL.
What was that shit? First off, the fact that Netflix is going to be hosting 2 NFL games on Christmas, dude, we're not going to be able to enjoy the games at all.
No.
Because you can't even host a fight? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why was Jerry talking? That man knows nothing about boxing.
It's Jerry. It's Jerry World. It's his ego. I guarantee you it was in the contract when he signed it. You can have the fight here, but I'm going to be on TV talking.
But anyways, the fight itself
sucked.
It was rigged.
It sucked.
Oh, it was rigged. Ain't no way you can't. People can sit here and tell us with a straight face that fight was not rigged.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tyson was throwing punches. Man was swinging, and then he just gave up.
Yeah,
like he did not look the same. Like he was like not avoiding punches. Like he's old, but dude, his training we've seen. Like, dude, he still got something.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't sit here and tell me like, oh, that fight wasn't rigged, because you could You could tell with Tyson biting his glove when Paul kind of wrapped him up at one point and whispered something to him to take it easy or whatever. Because at the end of the day, Tyson's getting paid.
Oh yeah.
Now he's getting paid to lose, but like if money wasn't involved, Tyson would knock the crap out of him.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, Paul won. Yada yada yada. Most of us couldn't watch the fight anyways because of work or Netflix was just straight garbage.
I had no problem. I didn't hear about that. I had no problem where I was watching the fight with Netflix. I had
Must
no
be
issues.
freaking nice.
I know. Like I went on Twitter. I'm like, what do you mean everyone's having problems? I had no issues with this fight.
Yeah, probably maybe just West Coast type stuff, but
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, Paul won. I think the women's fight was better. Serrano
Women's fight was
versus
so much
Taylor.
better. That girl's eye fell off.
Woo, boy, man, she's
still lost the fight.
I know all that
I don't know how she lost. Her eye was coming out.
blood, sweat, and tears, and he still took the L. I
Mhm.
know, but shout out to her for real.
Yeah.
Hell of a fight. That was the best fight on the night.
Oh,
Paul and Tyson. That was.
If you turn the fight off after that women's fight, you were a happy person going to bed.
Oh, yeah.
You missed nothing.
100%. Who's Paul gonna fight next, anyways? At this point, like I don't know.
Another retired boxer, probably.
Oh, bro, just let him fight Canelo, bro.
Did he fight Mayweather yet? That's next. He'll fight Mayweather.
Great. Another win for Paul.
Or Pacquiao. He'll fight one of the two. But, like, down the line.
Pacquiao. Oh, yeah, because Pacquiao is still kind of. He still got it. Like,
Yeah, he can't. Jake Paul cannot fight against a real boxer.
he wants to fight Canelo.
I think Canelo will kill him.
Oh, 100%. But let him try.
Yeah, let him try, but like put it on Netflix again. Do not make people pay for that fight. Or like,
people, yeah.
Like, cause like imagine how pissed off he would be had they paid for that. Like boxing normally is.
Well, people pay for anything, so.
I know, but like, it sucks that like that was the main event fight. We paid for this. Hey, maybe he fights McGregor in a boxing match.
Yeah, you're right, man. He'll fight anyone that's not a freaking boxer, dude. It's ridiculous. If it's
or a
McGregor,
boxer that's well past his prime.
If Muhammad Ali was still alive, he'd try to fight him, even with
The Parkinson's.
the Parkinson at this point. But yeah, I mean, look, Paul won. Good for him. Everyone's getting paid, yada yada. But not the best event to be seen on. It was Friday.
Yeah, it was Friday.
Friday.
I hope you at least if you watch the fight, I hope you're at a party or something, because that made it somewhat enjoyable.
Yeah, I was at work because people were consistently trying to sign up to watch or to bet on Paul versus Tyson.
I bet on Jake Paul to win. I'm like, there's no way Mike Tyson, who's 6 years old, is gonna win this fight.
People who bet on Tyson be like, really, Brian? It's like,
yeah, sorry, guys. I was just basically doing natural biology at this point. Like, Mike Tyson is 60 years old.
did you win a lot?
I won. I bet $5. I won $2.85. Like, I really won. It was a nice little money, so I could lose it on college the very next day.
Oh,
Went 5 for 5 this weekend. Not terrible.
oh, moneyline stuff, or what'd you bet on?
Everything. Money line, spreads, over unders. I do everything. Just what I like.
Well, you should have like a bet segment on the show. But yeah, back to Dallas. Look, yeah. So the curtains were up on Friday night for some reason for that fight, and then Monday, which was yesterday, you had debris coming from the roof.
The stadium was falling apart.
Like, it's like, damn, how bad can y'all be, man? Like, the team is already bad as it is. Your stadium can't even stay. Your stadium is new.
Yeah. When they built that stadium, is mid 2000s.
Yeah,
Ish.
AT&T Stadium.
I bet 2008. I want to say 2009.
I believe so.
Because Eli Manning won the first game at an AT&T Stadium because he signed the wall and he said I won.
Yeah. 2009. That's when it was.
2009.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. Because they hosted the Super Bowl the next year.
And they made renovations. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Dallas is just a mess, dude.
Yeah.
And
like that stadium's only 15 years old. Like the stadium just got its learner's permit. No way it's falling apart already.
It must be nice to have a new stadium. Giants.
We do have a new stadium. MetLife is younger than AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, but it still sucks.
I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but like
We
had a chance to get a cool stadium and we messed it up.
There you go. But overall for Dallas, yeah, look, the team is bad, stadium's bad. They lost to Houston last night on Monday night. Texans are now 7-4. They play great. Joe Mixon has been such a renovation for the Texans, or rejuvenation, I should say, for the Texans this offseason. 3 touchdowns last night. He's making the offense flow a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a lot of stress off CJ Stroud, and everything. So he's been great.
Finally, someone tweeted, I forgot who it was, but somebody tweeted out last night, we give the Giants a lot of crap for losing Saquon. Why is nobody giving the 4-7 Bengals crap for losing Joe Mixon?
Yeah, like no one says anything about that. Like the Bengals have Chase Brown and Zach Moss. Like that is not the same as Joe Mixon.
Chase Brown has been good, but like they're definitely missing Joe Mixon.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about kickers earlier to start the show for the Cowboys. Brandon Aubrey, he does not miss field goals. He's never missed at AT&T Stadium before last night, but had a 40-yard attempt that hit the upright. I think one of his legs, I think it was his plant leg, slipped as he was kicking, and the ball just like sliced. So
no one's perfect. Everyone's got something.
Yeah. Especially Justin Tucker has struggled a lot this year.
Oh my, Justin Tucker's falling off a cliff. I think he's saying like 75% right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he missed 2 on Sunday at least.
He was not the same. And we'll talk about that game right now. The Steelers upset the Ravens 18-16. Yeah, when your kicker is 6 for 6, sure.
The Steelers are playing football like straight out of the 90s.
Dude.
Like they basically just rely on a really good defense and just hoping the offense can get in the field goal range. Hope the offense can just do enough.
Dude, the offense could not get anything going offensively. Like they got into the red zone just to kick a field goal.
Yeah. So, 6 times.
Yeah. I think Wilson was like 2 for 9, 7 yards and an interception against the Ravens in the red zone. And he honestly just didn't look the same like we're used to seeing Wilson was. But hey, that Ravens defense.
It's good. It's a really good defense. It's a good defense.
They're a good defense, man. So, George Pickens was the best receiver, 8 catches, 89 yards, but everyone else just could not get anything done. But Chris Boswell, MVP for the Steelers on Sunday, and they got the win. As for the Ravens, look, there's been moments where they look like the most outstanding team in the NFL. Then there's moments like this where you're just like, wow.
How'd you lose this game?
What are we doing? Exactly. And it's not just Justin Tucker that's struggling. Like Lamar Jackson can't beat the Steelers, or he wasn't able to beat the Steelers. Like he struggled against them, not just in this game, but for his entire career. 1-4 now against the Steelers. He was 16-33. Yeah, 16-33 against them. On Sunday. Like the Steelers know how to beat Lamar, and even with Derrick Henry, it does not matter.
No,
the Steelers defense is just that good. But it's games like this where it's like, are they really capable of contending? Because just because the Steelers offense isn't that great doesn't mean they can't win the division.
No.
Like
that defense can carry them to a division title, especially in a weaker AFC North right now.
Mm-hmm. Like, we're not saying Baltimore's not going to make the playoffs,
but Baltimore's pretty much a lock at this point. But the Steelers have a shot to upset them for a North championship.
Yeah, Steelers are 8-2, Baltimore 7-4. They keep losing games like this to teams they should beat. They'll, likely be 5, 6, 7 seed and have to play, a wild card game away from home. And last year we saw them get the number 1 seed in the AFC, if not mistaken.
Yeah.
now this year might be harder than last year if they continue to struggle and not win games they're supposed to. Steelers have won 5 straight. Like, if they can't keep up with Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh keeps winning games with the gritty defense and an offense that can just play have an average offense, like this Steelers team can win the division and host a playoff game. Who knows? Maybe they'll play Baltimore again. And like we just mentioned, the Steelers have the formula to beat Lamar. Who's to say Lamar couldn't, or could be an early exit in the playoffs this upcoming postseason? So we shall see there.
Mhm.
All right, other game we want to discuss as we go down the line here in Week 11, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Here's an interesting thought. We've talked about, like, we want to draft a quarterback, but, like, if we're not in a position, we might have to go veteran.
Yeah.
What are the odds that a Trevor Lawrence becomes available this offseason? And would that be somebody you want to maybe explore as the Giants?
Number 1 overall pick, Clemson.
Not great stats, though. Very similar stats to Daniel Jones.
That's the thing. I don't want a Jones replica.
Boom. Yeah, that's where I'm like, Trevor Lawrence, sure, he has a big contract. He has all this, but, like, he's not done anything to earn all that.
Mm-hmm. Like, yes, he's had a winning record. Yeah, he's had a winning record throughout his career. I don't know the exact stats. I was like look it up right now. He's had 69 touchdowns, 45 interceptions in his career, over 13,000 passing yards. 6'6", 220. He's 22-37. No. He just.
But how much of that is on the Jaguars being the Jaguars? Like, you gotta think the first chunk of his rookie season was Urban Meyer. Like,
yeah, it's like this year.
No, this year sucks too. This year has not been good either. I'm just saying that Trevor Lawrence could be a interesting quarterback to go out and get.
But he's like the definition of average. Like, yes, that Urban Meyer was bad, but then the next year after that, when they got a competent coach, he still went 9-8.
Yeah.
The year after that, he went 8-8. Like, he's literally just a good quarterback. Like, he's just good.
Who gets elevated because he had so much success at Clemson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this was the number 1 overall pick for whatever that means to you guys. But no, he's never.
So now what if it's? I mean, like, it's a lot, and I don't know if they can move him with the contract and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it could be an interesting veteran that we didn't expect to be on the open market if Jacksonville gets one.
No, I don't think I want him solely for the fact that 1, average, and 2, I think Daboll and Shane would be interested, but at the end they'd be like, yeah, but he's not our guy.
Yeah. I mean, he would be their guy if they traded for him.
Yeah, but it's not.
He would become their guy.
Yeah, he's not like their guy as in like me, talking with them from the very beginning of their career and like building that. Because Lawrence has been in the league, and I understand what you're saying. Like, he'll be their guy, but I'm talking about a quarterback being their guy, as in drafting one.
We went through the process. We got
through
you.
The whole process. Exactly. So just getting to choose a guy in the draft is what I want. Like, yes, it's nice that the Giants have the chance to maybe get a bridge quarterback and maybe get Arch in 2026 or whatever the case may be, but I think with the Jones benching, it creates a sense of relief for Daboll and Shane. Like, okay, yes, DeVito's playing the rest of the way, but we can go ahead and really look into the draft and evaluate these quarterbacks. And we will do the same as well, since at this point, Jones
That's what we have.
Yeah, we'll do that. Shane was at the Colorado game this past weekend. Like, he was there to see Shedeur, and this is the second instance.
They love Shedeur.
They
love
do.
him.
They really do. This is the second instance now where Giants have been linked to Colorado.
And like high-end Giants people. Like, it was the assistant GM a few weeks ago, and now Joe Shane is there. They're not like sending scouts out to look at this guy. Like, they're getting like the guys whose opinions matter most out there. I bet you if Brian Daboll didn't have to go on the sidelines, he'd be out there. He'd be out in
100%.
Colorado for a week looking at him.
Hell yeah. And of course, the Giants, Joe Shane and everyone, they'll go to see other colleges, throughout the rest of the season and into the offseason as well. But just to already be with Colorado twice now, big sign that they maybe prefer Shadur. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But for Jacksonville, yeah, I don't want Trevor Lawrence. I'm sure you don't want him either.
I don't know. I just thought it'd be an interesting. I could see a world where a lot of Giants fans who don't love this draft class go push that option out there. Like, well, we could look at Trevor Lawrence.
That's true. Or we could get Justin Fields or Bryce Young. Well,
if we're gonna go bridge quarterback, I think Justin Fields is the guy because he still could be something.
He would be exciting. He could run the ball. He's young.
He could be what Daboll's always wanted to run with Jones, like having that dual threat guy. But he couldn't with Jones because Jones is such an injury problem.
Mm-hmm. But with Jacksonville, I think there was rumors saying that if the Jags lost this game against the Lions, Peterson will be gone. He hasn't been gone yet. But they're 2-9 now after their embarrassing loss to the Lions. They lost 14 of the last 17 games.
Oh my God.
644 yards allowed by the Jaguars against the Lions. That's the second most in a single game in their 30-year franchise history. The highest was 653 against the Texans in 2012. Jared Goff was throwing the ball very well against the Jags, 412 passing yards altogether for the former Cal quarterback. And the Jags are in shambles. The Lions, on the other hand, they are clearly the best team in the NFC. No doubt about that.
I think the best team in the NFL.
Oh,
I think they could beat the Chiefs definitely. I think they get the Bills a run for their money. I think it's Lombardi or bust for the Detroit right now, which I know Detroit fans aren't used to hearing, but it's yours.
You get to enjoy it this time around if you're a Lions fan. Speaking of the Bills, though,
you did it. You finally did it.
Thank you, Buffalo. You were such a blessing to many NFL fans on Sunday when you guys defeat the Bills. And I want to say, man, Josh Allen is my MVP. I tell you that I never jumped from that bandwagon from the start.
You did
this season. That was my guy from the beginning for MVP, and he showed out against Kansas City. That touchdown run he made to seal the deal, weaving through 6 Chiefs defenders. That was
Which
my
one was better?
MVP.
Was that better or was Geno's better? The quarterback rush.
Ooh, I don't know.
I lean Geno because it won them the game. But the Josh Allen was cool, and that iced the game for them. But Geno Smith was a comeback, oh my God, Geno Smith's a 34-year-old quarterback. How he do that?
I'm gonna say Allen because, dude, we talked about it so many times. The Chiefs' downfall needed to start somewhere. It was going to happen, and that touchdown run was like, Mahomes, your stupid black magic crap is not gonna work this time.
It's over.
And finally, the Bills did it.
About 9
I'm so
weeks
happy.
too late.
I know. I'm so happy for them. And honestly, to me, with this win, they are the best team in the AFC. They even with subpar-ish weapons, like Keon Coleman's been out, and Amari Cooper has stepped in to be that wide receiver number 1, and the rushing team wasn't that great by James Cook and all that stuff. They still managed to win games. And if the running game can't get going and Josh Allen continues to play at the level that he's playing, this team is nothing to mess around with in the AFC. If the Chiefs won this game, 100% number 1 seed the Chiefs are. But now with this loss, the Bills are right back in it. If they keep on winning, they could be.
I think the Bills are going to get it because I think the Chiefs are going to drop a few more games here. Now that
100%.
that it's kind of like in Rocky where he got when Drago got punched and they're like, the Russian's bleeding. The Chiefs are bleeding. So they're no longer this impenetrable thing that you can't be beaten. They can be beaten now. And I think that's going to get in their psyche a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And they're not this. The defense is good. Obviously, they're one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL. But this Chiefs offense does not look the same. Yes, you have Kareem Hunt. Pacheco's coming back soon. But how much of an impact will Pacheco, make when the Chiefs offense could not get anything? The passing attack is just, it's not it. And the whole talk about, the Chiefs don't need Tyreek Hill. Maybe they do because
Maybe not Tyreek Hill, but maybe like a legitimate wide receiver number one. DeAndre Hopkins is nice, but he's not a wide receiver number one anymore.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. Everyone was like crowning him like the new wide receiver number one. What happened Sunday? Where was Xavier Worthy? 50 yards, really?
Yeah.
Remember the Chiefs were praised for being able to get Worthy and roasting the Bills. Well, it's working out for somebody. Buffalo, no, not the Chiefs. So all I'm gonna say is I'm happy. Look, I'm not a hater of the Chiefs. It's just we both know they're not that good.
Yeah.
And we saw that on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't a hatred of the Chiefs. It's just like this team is so overrated right now. It's more of what it was. It's like,
100%.
why can't people look past the 9-0 record and actually look at the way this team plays?
They had a 91% chance of being the number 1 seed if they beat the Bills, but their chances dropped to 54%.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And now they don't have the tiebreaker advantage against the Bills if they have the same record by the end of the year, but they also have to focus on the Steelers, who we just talked about have just 2 losses on the year. They play on Christmas between the Chiefs and the Steelers. If they lose to the Steelers, they're basically their destiny to get the number 1 seed. They can't control that.
No, they might get 3rd.
Like
the Steelers could mess around and get 2,
which puts the Chiefs in the wild card game. We're not used to seeing Mahomes in the wild card game.
I mean, like 2. If you don't get 1, you get the wild card game now.
Oh,
yeah, it's the old
the
expanded playoffs. Yeah,
gotcha. But still, like the Chiefs always have been known for getting the bye.
Yeah.
Now you got to put them in the wild card game. And look, I know the Chiefs are 9-1.
It's not a good 9-1.
Yeah, but the Chargers are 7-3. I know they had a rough start, but the Chargers
are hot at the right time.
The Chargers are coming. They are on the way. They beat the Bengals on Sunday night. Jim Harbaugh, coach of the year.
He's definitely in the discussion for it. He has to be.
I will say this team has gone through such a change. Like, remember last year with Brandon Staley, and it was just like there was no energy or whatever with this team. Could have drafted Fields to trade the pick. This was
yes, we could have drafted Fields. We traded back when we got Kadarius Toney, and then the 1st round pick the following year turned to Evan Neal. But the Giants also had Daniel Jones going into year 3. They were never drafting a quarterback at that point because we were still like a year off from that rookie season where he looked good.
Makes sense. Yeah, well, we live and we learn. But
yeah, I'm sure looking back on it, the Giants probably would have drafted a quarterback instead of, or probably just never would have drafted Daniel Jones to begin with.
My goodness, yeah. So many things could have been avoided, but hey, we have to live with the consequences of our own actions. And that's
not our actions. Our idiot owner hiring a moron in Dave Gettleman.
I made some bad comments about Gettleman, especially when he had cancer. Do I feel bad? Yes.
I never said that. I'm like, I hate this man as a football person.
Well, I may or may not have said a few things about his cancer and how I didn't really give a care. But I was just mad. Like when you're mad as a Giants fan, like
I mean, you can't use cancer as the excuse to keep him. Like, that's what you could say. But like, I'm not wishing ill will on the man. I'm hoping he gets better.
Look, all I said was like, at the moment, I was like, I don't care if you have cancer. Like, you are the GM of my team. Make the right decisions. And that's all I said.
That's not terrible. That's not bad.
Yeah, and I felt bad. I was like,
it's not great you brought up the cancer, but like at the same time, we can't use it at like well, he's got cancer. We
suck.
Have to keep him. What do you mean we have to keep him?
Yeah, like, okay, so just because someone has, that someone's gonna die. Like we're gonna keep him as GM. Like no, this isn't make a wish. This is the NFL. It's a business. But no. Back to the Chargers. Look, big win on Sunday night. 34-27 was the final score. Justin Herbert, still playing well. His performance has been better than the beginning of the year so far recently. Lat McConkey has been such a great rookie for the Chargers offense. 6 catches, 123. He's becoming Justin Herbert's most trusted guy. And after a season to start where it's like the Chargers don't have a receiver like number 1, McConkey has been becoming that. And Quentin Johnson has grown into his own as the number 2 guy, being a deep threat and just being the guy the Chargers drafted him to be in the first round last season in the 2023 draft, I should say. So shout out to those 2 guys for stepping up. Joshua Palmer's doing his thing as well. And then J.K. Dobbins. Hey, comeback player of the year, man. I see it. He deserves, if anything, man. He came off such a major injury last year with the ACL and everything. Was it ACL? That was ACL.
Yeah, it was ACL.
And has been outstanding.
It might have been more, but ACL was in there.
He's been outstanding for fantasy owners like myself, but also in real life as well for that Chargers offense. As for the Bengals, are they done? 4-7?
Yeah.
You got to win out, and I don't know about that one.
I think they've buried a hole too deep for themselves to get out of, which stinks because, it's officially the end of that core. That team is never going to be the same. The team's not going to have the talent they have right now to compete again. Higgins is gone.
I will say they have a shot. They have the Steelers, Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Broncos, and Steelers again. So it's not impossible.
They could lose both games to the Steelers. They could lose that game to the Broncos. That's 3 losses right there. That's 10 losses on the season. It's over.
I think if you lose to Pittsburgh,
you lose one game to Pittsburgh, it's over.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I don't think they're going to lose to that unless something drastic happens with Denver. I think they are a legit chance at this thing.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking about the Denver Broncos, I think, they played the Falcons. So what happened, Atlanta? What happened? I thought Kirk Chains and friends, weren't they good?
They were good.
Yeah, and then you let Bo Nix throw 4 touchdowns on you? Really?
I think it's more just Bo Nix is a good quarterback.
Really? Yeah, but he's a rookie. He struggled this year to start his NFL career, but if you're a true contender in the NFC, you figure things out. But just 6 points?
Yeah,
really, Falcons? What happened? No, seriously, there's so many freaking Falcons fans we're good and no.
Hey, I thought the Falcons were gonna be good too, but after Sunday, I'm like, this team's got issues.
Yeah, what happened to being the true contender in the NFC South? Come on, that's
the Bucs' division to lose right now.
Dude, it's anyone's freaking division at this point. But the Panthers are 2 games back.
Bryce Young comeback.
Oh my dude, imagine how
as a Giants fan, actually no, you can't.
You can.
No, you could root for that because I'm trying to think that from draft position, you want the Panther, the Giants are gonna fall back. You want the Panthers to be ahead of us, but you also want Bryce Young to play good enough that they don't want a quarterback.
Oh yeah, true. I don't care. I'm still going. I'm rooting for the Panthers, man. Frick, fudge everyone else, man. The Panthers have struggled so much, man. Bryce Young's gone through a lot of crap. Hell yeah. Let's see Carolina win the division. Because the Falcons don't damn deserve it. Bo Nix just whooped them, 28 of 33, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns. First ever game with 4 touchdowns and 300 yards in his career. So shout out to him. Look, I mean, this Denver team, man, they're good. They're a tough team to compete. They will always be in games when everything is going well. But they came out on Sunday they were good from the start. Bo Nix has been great since October started. He's swept the entire NFC South. And look, I mean, they have weapons there in Denver. Javonte Williams, Audric Estime. Speaking of which, I picked him up in a other fantasy league last week.
Yeah.
Put him on my bench, and I dropped Javonte Williams. And I checked my phone on Sunday. I see Estime has -2 yards. Meanwhile, Williams is going off. And I'm just like, okay, so is Estime the RB1 or is it Williams the RB1? How about you pick one? Okay?
I don't think they know.
I don't think they know. Like last week, it was Estime. Now it's Williams. So what's
I think Sean Payne's just like, whatever gonna work this week, that's what we're rolling with.
That's what I do. I don't care who it is. Like, just we'll put him in there, and if they're playing good, they're playing
He's
good.
kind of like a basketball coach right now, where like, you know, you got your guy on the bench, but like he has like 25 points and like he's just getting minutes. It's like this guy should not be out there, but he's just hot for some reason, and I'm not messing with it.
But yeah, like as long as it works for Denver and they keep winning games, who's to say, you know, who's to criticize them? If anyone should. But the Falcons, yeah, they sent 4 or fewer pass rushers on all of Bo Nix's 21 first half dropbacks, just 3 pressures against that Denver offense, and they just could not have or come up with any pressure against.
Judon has not been the solution they thought he was, and they probably, you know, I love Michael Penix, but probably should have drafted Dallas Turner.
Like I said, the South it's anyone's race. The
We
Bucks
saw
have
Penix. We saw Penix on Sunday. That was cool.
Yay! 2 for 4, 20-something yards. Like
The ball looked good coming out of his hands. I'm like,
mhm.
I still take that. I still take that over what I'm watching right now.
We'll take that. But yeah, overall, the Falcons aren't that great, and we'll see how that goes. Let's see other takeaways real quick. Packers beat the Bears in the last second field goal. That's great.
Poor Bears fans.
I know.
Somebody,
Man.
you ever seen Interstellar?
I have not yet.
All right. So
Where it's like, no.
yes, somebody recreated that scene, but it was him going back and like watching him become a Bears fan. He's like, no, don't put on the shirt. Don't put on the shirt.
No.
He's like, come on, watch the Packers. Look how good Aaron Rodgers is. Like the Packers. I like the Packers.
Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm as depressed as well, man. Nothing's going right in Chicago. And I think it's the straw that broke the camel's back if for Matt Eberflus, man. He's done.
He has to be fired. We say all the time that the Maras are bad owners. The McCaskies are bad owners. And they're very similar to us. Because it's a historic franchise which traces back to the original owners. Like, they are not good. Like, they keep doing the same thing year in and year out where they just bring in these lame duck guys. Like, It started with Trubisky and John Fox. John Fox was not told they were going to draft Mitchell Trubisky, so he had to make that work. Then John Fox gets fired, so they have to bring in Nagy. And then Ryan Pace gets fired, so they bring in Ryan Poles, and he keeps Matt Nagy, and he keeps Trubisky. Then they draft Justin Fields and keeps Nagy and Poles. And then they fire those two, hire Pace and Eberflus and Justin Fields, and then draft Caleb Williams, get rid of Justin Fields, and now they have 2 dead ducks at coach sitting there. Now they're bringing another coach who did not pick this quarterback. It's like, you guys are literally doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to work. It's been 6 years of this strategy. Clean house and just bring in a whole new cast of characters.
Say it again, man. Insanity is what, Brian?
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It is literally insane what the Chicago Bears have been doing.
Yeah. It's a mess in Chicago, man. I tell you that. And look, I mean, I'm sure anyone will be happy to coach Caleb Williams, but
yeah,
like you mentioned, it's not their guy, and we'll see what they do from there.
Yeah.
Dolphins won 34-19 against the Raiders, who will be looking for a quarterback.
Sneaky still in this thing.
Yeah,
Sneaky could make a playoff spot. They have a very weak schedule coming up.
And they're 4-6. Yeah, if they went out.
They went out, yeah.
Yeah, you can't lose, but if they went out, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. They're sneaky. It's not a great shot, but like there is still a chance.
7 seed. Just don't play in Kansas City. They'll be all right.
Pretty much. When it's negative 35 again, and they're keeping beer in the fridge to keep it warm.
The winning percentage when it's like, so let's say like it's 90 degrees. This is the winning percentage.
Yeah.
And it's 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, negative. Then that's their win probability.
Pretty much.
But let's see. Oh, Colts won 28-27 against the Jets. We'll talk about that. So apparently with the Jets,
Yeah, any updates on the Douglas firing?
so it was a messy situation.
Shocking.
Wow.
Hold on, people. The Jets handled the situation poorly. I've never heard this before. It's like it happened, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
So apparently those in Douglas' department were informed over the last hour. A messy situation gets messier, according to Albert Breer on Twitter, and was told that co-director of player personnel, Greg Nejme, has taken on a more prominent role recently. So it goes.
That's your next GM, Jets fans.
Yeah. Joe Douglas has drafted Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Brees Hall, Will McDonald, Braylon Allen, Jermaine Johnson, and Michael Carter II, and the Jets just fired him. So,
Just end the suffering.
End it at this point. Look, Douglas's contract was going to be out or expiring at the end of the year anyways. But
then wait for that to happen. There's a better way of going about this.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? So that's kind of the only update we have right now. We'll probably get a better story and a full story when we come back on Thursday for our next show. But yeah, that's kind of it. The Jets continue to be trash. And then finally, last game I want to talk about that's notable: Seahawks and Niners. So San Francisco. So much for contending this year. Look, CMC's back. Like I thought this offense would be better, but it's just 17 points against the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm. I was doing the Three Rails Metro Hockey podcast last night, and we were talking after the show, and my co-host Daniel Smooth brought up he talked about how long is it until Kyle Shanahan gets fired and John Lynch.
They're not gonna fire them though.
I said the same thing. I said like it's gonna be a few years, and he goes, the cap situation coming up for the Niners is like they're gonna be in cap hell if they don't move. Like Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams, George Kittle's gone. Like the roster's gonna fall apart in a few years, their cap situation. And like I looked into it, and he's 100% right. Like the Niners are. Like we've talked all the time about like teams like Last Dance. This was kind of the Niners' last dance with this group before they had to make serious cap casualty decisions.
Kittle's staying. They're gonna bring him back no matter what.
They want to bring him back. Are they going to be able to bring him back? It's more. They will
do whatever it takes because he's just that.
Right, but then you're robbing Peter to pay Paul at that point. You're stealing from one position to pay the other position.
Well, who are you paying instead of Kittle though?
I don't know. Like, do you keep like?
I'm not paying Debo.
No, I wouldn't pay Debo either. I'm trying to move on. I think Debo's the guy yet to move.
Yeah, Debo can go. They just resigned Juan or Ayuk. I think the best decision they could have made was let Ayuk be. Like just let him go to Pittsburgh.
Let him walk. Trade him. You should have traded him.
Yeah. Now they're stuck with it. What are you gonna do? Resign a guy and trade him? Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. And like hindsight's 2020. They didn't know Juwan Jennings was gonna have the season he has. But like I think if they knew that, they probably are more willing to give up Ayuk for draft picks, and not try to bring in like a George Pickens or a young receiver to pair with them.
Well, you would just think like you resign Juwan Jennings in the offseason, you draft two receivers and Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing, then you draft 2 receivers the year before with Ronnie Bell and whoever the other guy is. Like you would think like you're prepared to go without Ayuk, yet you still bring him back. That means you drafted Pearsall in the first round for nothing. Juwan Jennings was resigned just to be the receiver number 3. Jacob Cowing is a waste of a draft pick. Ronnie Bell's a waste of a draft pick. So what are we doing? You know,
Yeah.
like, look, I understand that Santa Clara or whatever, San Francisco 49ers are like a good organization. Yeah, I got news for you. They're not. They don't know what the F they were doing this offseason. I'm sorry.
No.
I've been pissed at their draft. You don't draft receivers and then still bring back Ayuk. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you can never have too many weapons, but you knew damn well, like, you.
But there are
prepared
other
to be
areas
without
of the
Ayuk.
team you have to fix.
Mm-hmm. Like, Trent Williams isn't getting any younger.
No.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, we're a Giants fans and the organization, you know, our organization sucks. But let's not act like the Niners are a top tier organization. Like, they know what they're doing. They don't. They do not. Okay? They do not.
Nope.
I'm sorry. They have issues in that secondary. Their corners are not that great. Okay. Trent Williams isn't getting any younger, like you just mentioned, that left tackle. Like, you're gonna have to find a replacement eventually. He's still great as it is, but he's not, like I said, you gotta find a replacement soon.
He's great, but like,
You
how
gotta
much
pay him?
longer is that greatness going to be? And are you going to pay him?
Exactly. And just that whole receiving mess. Plus, CMC was hurt to start the year. Yes, he's back, but that's the thing I've always been like worried about is, can he stay healthy? This season was like an example of like, hey, this is what he's been known for most of his career. You can't control injuries, but that's kind of been his, his thing in the NFL. It's just getting hurt consistently and missing pivotal games. Like, if he was healthy the whole year this year, this Niners team is a completely different space. Different,
Oh yeah.
They'd be top of the NFC West by a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're sitting at what? I'm looking right now. What?
I think they're third.
5-5, tied for second in the division with the Rams, Seahawks at 5-5, Cardinals 6-4. Like, can anyone emerge as a consistent contender in the NFC? I don't know. Like,
Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are the best shot. I put a future on them the other day to win the division.
But that's the last game I wanted to cover. Seahawks won that one. Geno Smith, getting the job done. 7 of 8 of 54 yards in that winning drive. 2 rushes for 29 yards, including that 13-yard game-winning touchdown.
Clutched up. He put the team on his back and won.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. So, and that's gonna be it for Week 11. Yeah, that will do it. Oh, Brian, you have a game show, huh? I heard
A game
something to do with Canadians and hockey players.
Well,
what is
sort
this?
of. Well, if you remember when the season first started, we did, is this player a hockey player or a Canadian politician? I read 10 names off, and you had to guess, was this player in the NHL currently or a member of Canadian Parliament? We're back with that game, but we're not doing Canadian politicians this time.
Ooh.
Instead, I decided to change it up and make it a little fresh. So, on today's edition, we're going to do, is this player currently in the NHL, or is this an extra from one of the Star Wars movies?
Oh my god. And I haven't watched Star Wars, so this
That's 100% why I picked this.
This is fantastic. All right, buddy. Well, you're the host of this one. Fire it away, shall
All right.
we?
The first name, is this player an NHL player, or is this an extra in a Star Wars movie? Alex Newhook.
This is not a Star Wars, man. I know. Has to be an NHL player.
He's a forward for the Montreal Canadiens. So you're 1 for 1.
All right, we're cooking. We're cooking.
Okay. Drew Henley.
Nah, that's a hockey player, man.
No, he is Star Wars. He is Red Leader in Episode 4.
Oh my God.
Norman Chaser.
Norman Chaser.
I'm sorry, Chancer. Norman Chancer.
Chancer, okay. I'm gonna go Star Wars.
He's a rebel officer in Episode 5.
Yeah! All right, bet.
Neil Pinnock.
Nah, that's hockey.
That's hockey. He's a defenseman for the Winnipeg Jets. So you are 3 for 4 right now.
I'm
Doing
cooking.
well.
I'm cooking.
Johnny Brodzinski.
Hockey. For sure.
He's a hockey player. He's a forward for the New York Rangers.
The last name got me. I was like,
It's
yeah.
the last name, yeah. Ronald Falk.
Star Wars.
He's a Star Wars character. He's the voice of Dexter Jetser, the 50s cafe owner from episode 2.
All right, bet.
Scott Wedgwood.
Star Wars.
He's not. He's the backup goaltender for the
What the
Nashville
fuck?
Predators.
Dude, that is not a. That's
Nick
not a hockey player.
Dowd.
That's a hockey player.
That's a hockey player. He's a forward for the Washington Capitals.
Okay.
Matt Sloan.
Hockey player.
Star Wars character. He is Master.
What the fuck?
He is Jedi Master Plo Koon in episode 3. And finally, Connor Murphy.
Nah, man, that's a hockey player.
It's a hockey player. He's the defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks. So you got 1, 2. You went 7 of 10. You did pretty well. You actually
There we go.
you beat your last score, which was 6 of 10.
Yeah, that whole Canadian politician thing, that was a struggle. But there we go.
They have such similar last names. So we'll do this show again with the new. Is this a hockey player or something else? We'll pick something stupid.
I appreciate that, man. That was fun. Thank you.
Of course.
For that one. Yeah, we came up with the idea, like Brian mentioned, not too long ago. It was a fun game to participate in per se. Because I don't watch Star Wars. I'm sorry, I know I'm uncultured. I don't. I barely watch NHL, so honestly, I was just thinking about the last name. I was like, it sounds
It's
like
the
a hockey
last
player.
name, yeah. So we'll have to pick something where like the last name is like, is this a famous general from like the Civil War, or is this a hockey player?
And that, my friends, is also something I don't know a lot about, which is war
Okay,
history.
perfect. That might. I know you might study for that.
I will not.
We'll
I
think of
promise I will
something.
not. I
We'll
tell
think
you
of
where I
something.
know.
I got some ideas rolling around of what we could do.
I want you guys to know these ideas are come up with the night before, so I have no time to prepare when it comes to these random games that we do. So I hope you guys know that there is no studying involved. We literally come up with it that before we sleep, me and Brian
I did this at 1:30 in the morning last night. I picked these names, eating Nestle Toll House cookies.
And at 10:30, I was still working, and when I got off, I was like, okay, yeah, I was working on getting the stream set up for the show. I had some notes in front of me ready, but at the end of the day, I was not prepared for this game showing the players that Brian mentioned. So good idea, Brian, as always. And fun games you always come up with. Mm-hmm. Before we go, Juan Soto, Mets update. It seems like you guys are gonna pay him a lot more than everyone else. $50 million more than any team.
$50 million more. This is This is Steve Cohen. This is the Steve Cohen effect. When you're worth $21.5 billion, you can spend 50 more than everybody else and not make it, not mean anything. True. This is a man that spent $100 million on a formaldehyde shark. Swear to God, look up Steve Cohen formaldehyde shark. He was an art collector before he owned the New York Mets. Spent $134 million on something called Stickman, which is just a statue of a stick man, a man made out of sticks. You're telling me he's going to pay that much for that and not pay whatever it takes to bring in a generational star in Juan Soto? Like, if you're a Yankees fan, you have to be nervous right now because I don't know if Hal Sauerbrunn has already said that the current payroll is unsustainable, and bringing Juan Soto pretty much locks you up to that payroll.
So I can't believe an owner that paid for Stickman is the same owner of the team that beat the Phillies, almost beat the Dodgers.
Yeah, look up.
And it's not
when the show's over, look up Steve Cohen art collection. It's crazy, and like what he paid for it.
The more you freaking know, huh?
Mm-hmm. This is when he went to buy the Mets. There were like a few. It was Steve Cohen, the Blitzer Group, which owns the Commanders, the Commanders, the Sixers, and the Devils. They had a bid. A-Rod had a bid. And the two bids before were like 1 point something billion. Steve Cohen offered $4 billion for the New York Mets. He offered $2 billion for the Mets and $2 billion for SNY, which is the streaming company also owned by the Wilpons. Over $4 billion. He blew both other bidders out of the water with his bid.
And that is why, folks, you get an owner that cares.
Mm-hmm.
Only you can change a franchise around.
John Fisher, Jerry Reinsdorf, whoever's the owner of Tampa Bay.
Only you can mess up franchises, you three freaking buffoons. I was on the show before we go real quick. I was on the corner booth last week, and Brent Radziski, he's the host of the 1420 Sports Podcast.
Yeah,
We're talking about the Rays and how they're playing. Yeah, he's super funny. Canadian too. We're talking about the Yankees and the Rays and how the Rays are playing at Cyberner Field. He was like, "Oh, that's cute."
It is so sad. You're playing in your rival spring training home. I get why they're doing it because like it's in Tampa, it's close to your fan base and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, can it maybe not be embarrassing in playing at George Steinbrenner Field?
Yeah. Welcome to Steinbrenner Field as the Tampa Bay Rays
play the New York Yankees.
Yankees.
Like all the New York Yankees retired numbers are right there.
It's like, oh, the Yankees are at home? No, the Tampa Bay Rays are. What?
This is named after George Steinbrenner. Yeah, we know.
We know, but we're still here, so
we are well aware.
But that hurricane was not the worst.
I played at like one of the spring training sites, but don't play at the Yankees. Like go play at the Phillies, go play at the Mets, go play at the National League teams.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
It makes more sense, but that's their decision.
I don't know how far Jupiter is, but Jupiter is home to the Cardinals and the Marlins. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Go play there because, they're already sharing, so might as well just throw a third team in there for a year.
Yeah, right. But, hey, that's their decision. And, they'll be sharing their rivals' stadium.
Or, I don't know, play at your own spring training facility.
Isn't that? Oh, I was gonna say, isn't that Steinbrenner? But it's not. I'm tripping. That's the Yankees. Well, hey, that's the Rays for you. They're cheap, and they're not going anywhere. They rely on cheap pitchers and players that can get the job done, and when it's time to pay them, they let them go. Example?
It somehow works. Works.
Yeah, but how long they can do it, I don't know.
Oh, it's gonna run out soon.
Yeah, Randy Arozarena is chilling in Seattle right now. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yup.
And that'll do it for the Third Set Podcast, episode number 42. A little long today, but a lot to cover with the DeVito situation, week 11, and a lot of stuff to take away from that. And then our little game show that we just had, and then ended it with some Juan Soto stuff. So y'all know the drill. You can follow Brian at BrianPG1016 on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nathan_Nguyen24. And you can follow the podcast page out there and say pod on Twitter, Instagram, and the Tiki Talk. Not Facebook, because we're not old. The Tiki Talk.
The Tiki Talk. Okay.
The Tiki Talk. We don't use Facebook because we're not old. Just kidding. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad.
I mean, that is kind of the line of demarcation of how old are you? Oh, I use Facebook. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you know if it's a person's in Gen Z or a millennial. How big is your Facebook usage?
Spoiler, it is not a lot. I do not use that at all. I have it just in case.
I have a Facebook account. I have not touched it in 2 years.
We used to be on that a lot as kids, but as we
actually was never on Facebook. I only got a Facebook account when I transferred to Siena to join the Siena class of 2024 page and try to meet people. Didn't work. So I'm like, this is stupid.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
It was mission failed. It worked out. Worked out pretty well.
Oh, damn right. Oh yeah, 100%. You graduate from there and you're doing your whole, career and media.
I look how great I am. They sent me I am a stellar alum the other day in the mail. I'm not joking. I got a novel from Siena. It was just this. No letter. Nothing. Just this.
Good job, Siena.
I don't know how to respond to this. I'm like, I haven't been an alumni for a year yet.
For less than a year, yeah. It's like, thanks.
I don't even think it's been 6 months.
It's like
June, July, August, September, October. It's just 6 months. We've just passed 6 months. We're at November.
Yeah, it's like, what do you say? It's just like, yay.
Cool.
Thanks.
I could still I could walk on campus and people be like, oh yeah, he still goes here. He was just here.
Yeah, like no one knows. It's like, oh, did he graduate? He did. Since when? was like, oh.
I guess I thought he was a senior. I guess he was. You know how many people I thought were seniors and weren't my junior year?
So you're a senior? No. Junior? No. Freshman?
Like
Yeah.
there were people where I'm like, oh, that guy's a senior, and he'd be sitting in class with me when I was a senior. I'm like, that guy graduated. What the hell is he doing? What the hell is he still doing here?
I was like, no, I'm a senior this year. What do you mean?
What do you mean we're in the same class?
The more you know about your college classmates, man. I tell you, looks can be deceiving. They tell you that much right now. You could look old as hell, but you're a sophomore in college, and you just never know until you ask them.
Oh yeah.
But that's college for you. But for Brian, I'm Nate. Thank you guys so much for joining us here for episode 42, and we'll see you guys on Thursday for episode 43. Giants Bucks preview, another random game show possibly, and a whole lot more coming to you on Thursday.